Hi everyone, this is Uberox. Everyone calls Ark of War a war game, but it's actually also a sandbox game where you can choose to play however you want. You set your own goals, and one of the most common goals is to own capitals and eventually Centicon, and then become the ruling guild of your server. So today, I'm going to tell you how to do that. So first, a little background on myself. I've been leading our guild STL since we started on our first server a little less than a year ago. Since then, we've gone through 2 merges, and both times we've ended up as the ruling guild. During our most recent merge, we went in as 4th in power, with the leading guild being a top 32 guild from Galactic Battle. We were able to eventually defeat them in Centicon, and eventually most of them left the server. Being in a guild is one of the biggest reasons why I play Ark of War. The social interaction and the bonds that you create with your guildmates after you've done countless battles with them and you spent all this time with them, it's something that a lot of games lack nowadays, and so that really makes Ark of War special. So how do you become server lord? Well, no man rules alone. You need a powerful guild to rule a server. Players will automatically tend to migrate towards the guild that has the most power. It's just a natural thing to do. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to join the top guild. However, power isn't the only thing that you need to look at when you're trying to find the top guild. You want to try to join a guild that's going to be active in PvP and has leadership that you get along with. You start out as a lowly member and you need to rise through the ranks. The way to do that is to be active in chat and in PvP. You could also offer to do some role, such as sending out guild mails to remind players to do their guild mobilization in Imperial Fort, but never ask your guild leader to make you an officer, because we hate that. If you deserve it, you'll get it. Now that you're an officer, the next step is to become vice leader. It actually isn't hard to become vice leader because it has such a huge responsibility that a lot of people don't want to do it. In fact, I became the vice leader of my guild because no one else who was capable of doing it wanted to do it. So as the vice leader, all your members are going to come to you with their issues and complaints. Other guilds will come to discuss with you politics like who gets what capitals, tile hitting policies. These things, it can really feel like a second job that you're not getting paid for. Now you're ready to go ahead and take Centicon and become the server lord. However, I still recommend letting the server boss, the player with the most power, be the guild leader, because players still tend to want to join the guild that has the most powerful player. But you still will be one of the leaders of the guild. However, if your server boss isn't interested in being the server lord, like for instance, maybe they're just busy with real life and they just want to PvP and not have to worry about guild politics and stuff, then congrats, you're now the server lord. In order to run a successful guild, you need to have a few things. You have to have at least one boss player. That means one big spender. All the other members are basically buffers or meat shields during capital battles so that your boss player can always get first strike. For example, you'll put 3 commanders in front of your boss player so that when the enemy attacks, they have to go through 3 players. Then your boss player gets first strike and there will be 3 players behind him so that as soon as the boss player gets knocked out, he can resend and always get to have first strike. You also need to use an out-of-game chat app like Line, WeChat, or Discord. Our guild uses Discord. This is important for a few reasons. One of them being that if the enemy is making a big push on Centicon, you need to be able to reach all your members and tell them to get online. Now, running a guild is a little bit like running a business, except that you don't pay the players, so you can't actually order them and tell them what to do. You have to provide them with incentives. For example, if you want your guild members to kill tiles, then you can say, for every tile that you kill, the guild will pay you 100,000 food and parts, and then that will give your members the incentive to go kill those tiles. Or if you want your guild to do galactic battle and participate, then you can say, hey, if you come, then at the end of it, we'll open a guild bounty, we'll open a gold bounty for everybody. Or you could say, if you don't come, then you're going to have to pay a certain amount of resources to the guild bank. So you can use these types of incentives and disincentives to motivate your players to do what you want, since as the leader, your real only power that you have is to kick someone, which honestly, it's very impolite. I very rarely ever threaten to kick someone. Even though that's the only power you have, it's just not a good idea to use it like that. People won't like you, they'll think you're an asshole, and they won't want to be part of your guild. Certain players do need to fulfill roles. For example, someone has to do recruitment, someone needs to take care of the guild bank, someone needs to do diplomacy with the other guilds, and someone needs to be the battle commander during cap battles and galactic battle. So you can usually find players who are naturally good at these things, and you just ask them, or sometimes they'll come to you and say, hey, I'd like to do this. As the leader yourself, it is very difficult to handle everything. So it's very important to delegate the tasks to players who are willing to do it, because like I said, this can really easily become a second job if you let it. So you do need these players as well. Finally, I'm going to say it, peace is bad for business. You cannot allow your guild to get bored. If there are no cat fights, start a tile war. Before our first merge, on the small newbie server, where usually it's just one guild that just controls Senecon and all the caps, our guild actually split into two, and we had a civil war where we fought each other for several months until the merge announcement came, and then we decided to merge back together so that we could fight. And that gave us the experience that we needed to come out on top during our first merge. So if your guild has nothing to fight, they will start migrating away, or they'll just stop playing. So make sure they always have something to fight. One of the things a lot of guilds like to do is the no tile hit policy, where it's like, we don't hit your tiles and you don't hit our tiles. And I think that's fine if your guilds are constantly fighting for capitals. However, if one guild is just taken over all the capitals, or if your guild has taken over all the capitals, then you need something to fight. So start that tile war. People are going to be upset when you claim all the 14 and 15 tiles. They're going to be upset. They're going to call you an asshole. But the thing is, if you don't do that, your guild is just going to fall apart, right? So you start attacking those 14 and 15 tiles, and then they'll fight back, right? And if they don't fight back, well, then it's time to message 7 Pirates and say, hey, we need to merge because our server is so dead that there's absolutely nothing going on. So I hope this video gave you some insight into how guild management works, whether you're trying to become the server boss or if you're just a regular member who wants to know more about guild management. If you've had a different experience, or if you have thoughts about what I've said, then go ahead and leave a comment down below. And thank you for watching my video.